Hey guys, and welcome to my Margit the Fell Omen tutorial. Well, not tutorial, but guide. Today, in this video, I'll be showing you some tips, some tricks, when to attack, when to dodge, some of the timings, a little bit, stuff like that. General pointers. This is made for a good friend of mine who's having a hard time. I just want to start this out by saying that Margit is the first technical story boss, but this is Elden Ring, and he's very hard. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you prepare before you go to him. I recommend going to a couple of the nearby caves, catacombs, maybe even fighting like the tree sentinel or the dragon if you're up to it. Probably not the dragon, but maybe I'd say just explore a little bit before going to him. You should be like about level 15 to level 20, 25, something like that. You definitely want to be prepared. You want to have your weapon maybe +1 or +2 before fighting him. And even with that, it's still going to be a tough fight. And that's where we're going to get into the next part of the video. Hey, well, before we talk about the preparation aspect, more on that. Basically, so it depends on your build. This kind of depends on your starting class, but say you pick, like a bad starting class or something, or it doesn't fit your playstyle. The beginning is to figure out what suits your playstyle, and that's why Margit is so hard, because he gives you an opportunity to figure it out. And so you want to mess around with different weapons. Depending on this fight will go completely differently, whether you have a fast weapon or a heavier weapon. I have a katana, so I have a pretty decently fast weapon, so I have a lot more chances. But if you have like a strength-based weapon, you're gonna have to play a lot more careful. So keep that in mind when watching this. First, this is some preparation stuff. This is where you can find a sacred tear, which is a pretty decent item. Very broken. You can go to once you pick up the sacred tear, you can go to the site of grace, and you can press flask, which I end up showing, and it can increase how much your Estus heals. You can also pick up golden seeds. There should have been one on the way to the castle. Most people find it. You're almost guaranteed to find it, but most people don't know what to do with it. So you'd also go to flasks, and you press increase number of flasks, and that gives you more Estus, which is very good. And also, in that same place is the Wondrous Visik, which is also very good, because that gives you a whole nother heal, and later on you can get some really good stuff for it. So it's good to pick it up, good to have. In the fight, you can see he has a lot of different moves. He's a very versatile boss with a lot of different stuff to kill you with. This was one of my first attempts. I'd forgotten how hard he could be in the last playthrough, and disaster struck. As you can see, I got my ass kicked. But basically, the moves you want to watch out for first phase is the dagger. The dagger is quick. It doesn't do too much damage. The dagger, in some cases, is undodgeable. Generally, the way you get out of it is you dodge away. If he swings twice, sometimes you still get hit, but it's not too much damage. What you got to look out for is his overhead swings, as those are prone to do crazy amounts of damage. Usually, they have long delays, though, so you can wait a little bit. As you probably saw in the clip, I did not die. When he does like a long windup, though, overhead, you can usually, that is an opportunity. The best way to dodge that is to run around him, and usually he will not be able to hit you, depending on how far behind him you get. And that is when you just get it. That is when you attack. That's a free hit right there. You can get like usually a couple hits in. An attack, however, to close distance, which is when it looks similar to the overhead swing, but there is a difference. When he holds his stick up by himself, he just like holds it up usually in like almost like a straight thing. And if he's far away from you and he does that, no, he is going to move closer. But I do not recommend dodging right away. Wait till he's close to you, as he has a little bit of delay on it. A lot of times to get when he can get you is when you get too cocky. Is after he does like a heavy slam attack. Usually, if you're behind him, it's a good time to get hits in, but at the same time, you have to watch out for his tail, because if he has an attack where he wiggles his tail or whatever the hell that is. I don't know. He's on some fucking furry shit, but bro, he wiggles his tail and then he like swings it around and it does damage to you if you don't dodge it. After you dodge it, you can a good strat though is to dodge through that and hit him again, unless he follows up, which he usually does, and then no. With a dagger attack. He has a lot of follow-up moves, so just looking for openings is the hardest part, and learning when you can get openings in is the other hardest part. But first phase is not too bad. First phase is the easier part. Actually, nah, it's like, first phase is the learning part. He has mostly the same attacks in second phase, which is what we will be talking about now. Okay, yeah. Other tip: look out for delayed attacks. When some of his attacks, he holds back his weapon. It has slight delay on it. Make sure you wait before dodging. You want to save as much S's as you can for the second phase. To mention, thoughts is pretty obvious. Knife attacks are just simple side dodges. He has an attack where he jumps into the air. That is also a delayed attack. Usually, you wait like a couple seconds. Just watch him. Walk onto him and watch him. And when he comes down, make sure just wait to see his. It might take a little bit to get used to it, the timing, but if you can dodge that ground pound attack, you almost always get hits in, which is the bonus of that move in the first phase. He also all of his combos are delayed. He has two combos. One where it's mainly delayed attacks, where getting behind him can trivialize some of it, and then the other attack is out of nowhere. Something it can come out of nowhere where he swings quickly upwards, which that is more prediction. You can dodge it if you catch it, but you just have to be ready for it. It's the kind of thing that sometimes you're just going to get hit by, unless you react quickly enough. That is a thing you kind of have to be ready for. My clips are kind of messed up. Okay, second phase. Um, so he gets a hammer now and a sword. He goes check it, bonk, and that can be painful. So the best thing to do is to wait till he does a heavy AOE with the hammer. And the strat is not to run away from him when he does that. Rolling away from him is a bad strat. What you want to do is you want to wait till he jumps into the air. There's a bit of delay, and then when he comes down, that's when you want to dodge. As soon as you can tell he's about to hit the ground, that's when you want to dodge. Because if you dodge through that attack, then you have a ton of free hits in. That is a massive opening. And then it's better to get away. As in this phase, he now has a sword combo where he combines his magic light bullshit sword with his staff, and this can do major damage and can possibly one-shot you depending on how much you've spec'd in the vigor. I recommend specking like at least 10 vigor, but whatever. But so what he will do is usually he will swing his sword and then slam his staff into the ground in your direction. So if you dodge the sword, you're gonna get hit by the staff. I think you can dodge right for that attack. Just dodge to the right, and he won't be able to hit you with it. I think, and then you might have an opening. I cannot confirm that, as I always get hit by that because I'm an idiot. But and then he has a quadruple sword combo. If you can recognize it by the fact he will not slam it into the ground, he'll swing his sword, and then he'll swing his staff, and he will guaranteed swing the sword again and the staff again. So that is something to look out for, definitely. And then sometimes he will swing his staff and his hammer in such close proximity that for that attack, I know you can dodge it, because I have a couple times, but I recommend running from it and then getting far enough away so that you can get close to him afterwards. But because he will swing that staff, and if the staff hits you, it will avoid your iframes, and then you can get hit by the hammer, and that does massive damage. So it's very risky to try and dodge through it. But other than that, it's mostly the same. He still jumps, throws his daggers. Same spiel. Looking out for. I'm trying to think if there's anything new. It's mainly just the first phase with the addition of the hammer. And the hammer is good because it can sometimes give you free hits. Especially, he will do that jumping attack multiple times. So make sure you take advantage of that jumping attack. That's the biggest tip I can give. Anyway, I think you're ready to slay the first story boss of Elden Ring. He's a tough challenge, but he's a rewarding foe, and it's a fun fight in my opinion. For early game, most Souls games do not start off this hard, but it's a really enjoyable fight once you get into the groove of it. Anyway, hopefully this helps. Hayden. Another thing, if you're feeling kind of cocky or you're confident in your skills, you can parry him. I don't think you can parry the light attacks, but you can parry all of his staff attacks. So if you want to try that, you definitely can. And he is also affected by all status ailments. So I guess if you want to go skip stormveil and come back later, you can demolish him with scarlet rot or rotten breath, bleed. He takes all of it. So if you want to know, this is also a build only for melee users. I have no idea how you would do this magic. It'd be a little bit harder. Anyway, yeah, goodbye guys. Thanks for watching my tutorial. Subscribe. Be short. Look out for the sword attacks. Look out for the heavy staff attacks. Look out for the delayed attacks. Attack whenever he is not attacking you. Boom.